This is from the One Punch Man Season 3 producer. Pay special attention to the action scenes in Season 3 Episode 5, what we just saw, as well as Episode 9. This season features action scenes that are even more intense and continuous than previous ones. So we began discussing production methods with the studio from the start and carried out various experiments. Which means they were happy with the quality of Episode 5, the Garo vs Rover and Garo vs Monster King Orochi fight, and believed that potentially the best episode of Season 3 will be Episode 9, not the final one, which may feature Saitama vs Monster King Orochi if they manage to reach it pacing wise, something that is still a possibility based on the first 5 episodes, but the main issue still remains. Episode 5, broadly speaking, wasn't even that good compared to previous One Punch Man seasons. If you go on various websites and look at the review ratings for the episodes across the 3 seasons so far, you see that Episode 5, potentially the best of Season 3 if not the second based on these producer comments, isn't even the same range as the worst episode in Season 2. Highlighting pretty definitively that Season 3 is a further drop in quality compared to the second season, and the best episode of all time in One Punch Man remains as Episode 12 in Season 1, the conclusion of the Saitama and Boris fight. And I'm not gonna lie, the content that occurred in Episode 5 of Season 3 was good enough to be the best episode of all time when it comes to One Punch Man, including of Season 3. Just think about it. You have Garo saving the kid, then getting jumped by overgrown Rover, who is a monster beyond belief, his various fights against these other monsters, which unfortunately included a lot of cut content when it comes to the episode, including Garo actually eating some of them, an aspect that was further cut during his conversation with Guro Guro as well, kinda ruining aspects of the character arc for Garo, another main issue with the episode. But when it comes to content alone, after all of that insanity with Rover, we then have Garo facing off against another dragon level monster, then Monster King Orochi himself, the first time where we see his abilities in the entire series after all that build up since the start of Season 2, which to this day remains as one of the best fights in the entire series based on manga readers' experience, with the fan recreations being some of the most popular when it comes to this fight. Everyone who is a manga reader has been anticipating and hyping this moment up when it comes to the anime. The episode that could have been the best in all of One Punch Man, and perhaps broken into the category of these legendary episodes as well. That's how much potential it had. And I've seen anime only viewers say they enjoyed the episode, and that's fine. You likely enjoyed it because the content in that episode was simply next level. On paper, it's a certified banger, but the execution in Season 3 did not provide the greatness we wanted. Yes, it's the best episode we've gotten so far, and may highlight continued progression, even though the producer isn't hyping up the next few episodes, which will indeed feature a lot of action as well. But apparently Episode 9 is the one that's going to be the banger, or at least on par with this one, which isn't going to be a good sign regardless. So let's exactly break down what could be occurring in Episode 9, something I explained here. Will feature Zombie Man vs the Bat Monster, the various samurai clashing with other monsters, including the arrival of Amai Mask and some of his fights. This is an episode where I believe they could cut some content when it comes to the other swordsmen and their minor clashes alongside some other minor moments. So don't be surprised if content from these chapters is actually not included in the anime. So very clearly, not exactly what you would expect content-wise for the best episode of the entire season. I provided that breakdown after the first few episodes came out, giving us a pretty good understanding of the pacing. So far, it's remained true. Some episodes have been slower, the most recent one faster than what I expected, considering the sheer amount of cut content in the previous episode, and likely much more in the upcoming ones. So it's possible episode 9 will actually feature this content instead, highlighting Child Emperor's next main fight, which is actually a long span of time. We have Child Emperor facing a lot of other monster goons, but his main fight is against Phoenix Man, potentially the longest of this entire arc when you count the pages and chapter amount. Throughout this battle, we also have the arrival of Saitama. They find the kid who pretty much the entire mission is based around and successfully save him by the end of the battle. But technically speaking, it is possible that this fight with Child Emperor could be broken up into 2 episodes. However, for the pacing to make sense and for them to reach the Saitama and Monster King Orochi fight, they need to complete chapter 100 and fully conclude this fight for it to really make sense. So that's going to be my breakdown and what I believe they could do, but this one is absolutely wild and kinda all over the place. So yeah, if I had to place my bets, episode 9, the one they're hyping up at the current minute, will likely feature the conclusion of the Phoenix Man fight with Child Emperor, as I kinda discussed in my initial breakdown of the episodes. Something that does require insane animation, but realistically speaking, every episode moving forward requires insane animation to meet the standards of the manga. So if you're still watching One Punch Man Season 5 and haven't started the manga after episode 5, just do yourself a favor and begin reading. You can join us anime haters at this point who have officially moved past the idea of coping for the season. Episode 5 was pretty much the final draw. If this episode didn't deliver the greatness we wanted, no episode would really do so. Again, we could be wrong, and similar to Blue Lock Season 2, maybe this episode 9 will be next level insanity and make everyone forget about the prior issues, but honestly I doubt it. And once again, as I've explained in previous videos, I do have pretty major concerns about the Saitama vs Monster King Orochi fight, as this season doesn't really feature much from Saitama until that fight. Yes, he makes an appearance throughout this battle and other moments we've already seen, but broadly speaking, this isn't a Saitama season, and the Garo stuff is also over. He won't be making another appearance for the season outside of little cameos potentially. So big question marks around what will really be happening moving forward. Let me know your thoughts and everything down below. I'm still going to be watching the season, making videos, etc. Hopefully they can deliver more greatness, but the coping is now officially over.